right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blackwater Report. I'm Ken, and today we have a very special guest. We have running for District 2, Santa Rosa County Commission seat. This is Renee Johnmeyer, and she is here to talk to us a little bit about herself, her campaign, and some of her thoughts on Santa Rosa County. So we'll get right into it. Thank you for being here, Renee. Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Renee, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a wife of 33 years. I have 4 children and 9 grandsons. I come from a pretty staunch military family. My grandfather was a Master Sergeant in Marines, and my brothers were Marines.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So law enforcement and military. My husband's Air Force.
Okay.
My son's active Navy. So I come from a family of pretty much, service driven. Law enforcement's in there. Both my brothers, one was a retired state trooper, the other was county, and my husband was a CO for 16 years.
Okay.
So as far as me, I was a stay-at-home mom for almost 20 years. So
But you got to see all that.
I did,
There you go.
yes. So I was pretty much the support system for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Pensacola,
Okay.
but I spent a lot of time in Santa Rosa County. So I say, I'm kind of like Escarosa,
Yeah.
the beaches of Pensacola and the rivers of Santa Rosa County. So, so yeah, we moved away for a little while. And when we moved back, my husband said, I'm not moving to Escambia. So Santa Rosa is where we settled, and we've been here for about 20 years.
Excellent. Very cool. So you are from here.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Right. Yeah.
Pensacola, Milton.
Yeah. Yeah. You know all the same roads of this county to that county.
Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, all right. Well, thank you for being here again. We are going to get into a couple of questions here. And our first question we have for you today is, what led you into politics and why the District 2 seat?
Okay, well, like a lot of people in Santa Rosa County, they don't get involved until something comes to their back door. And then they're just like, whoa, what's happening? So that was kind of us 6 years ago, where the end of our roads, my neighborhood was zoned single-family ag. And it's 2 ways in. There was a street that came in, and it was kind of a horseshoe, and then a street leading out. So some signs went up, some home signs went up at the end of our street. So I was curious. At my county, the sitting county commissioner at the time, he lives in the neighborhood too. So I had gone up to the county office for a meeting, and I happened to see him in the foyer. And so I just asked him, I said, hey, I saw some signs, going up. Can you tell me where the houses are going to go? And he said, I wish I knew. Come to find out, he was buying the property, selling it to the builders, and then helping them get them rezoned. So we tried to fight it. There was a lot that transpired. So we did lose. So the houses are, it's funny, right now I have a Sam Parker home going right at the end of our driveway. We have a long driveway that, our property is kind of flag shaped. So there's a long driveway, and it opens up in the back. So anyway, that kind of drove us into getting a little more active in our local politics to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And this, not just that, my husband is the founder of Recall Florida.
Okay.
So we've spent a lot of time going back and forth to Tallahassee, trying to get legislation passed and for recall. Right now, there's 67 counties, and only 20 of them, which are charter counties, have the right to recall a local corrupt official.
Okay.
47 of those do not have that right. So that was what we were trying to do. We're trying to make it available for every county in Florida. And
Gotcha.
yes, and so we weren't changing the law. However, we were amending the Constitution. So it's 4 years we were in Tallahassee, going back and forth, talking to state reps, talking to senators, and
Sounds like a lot. That's a bit.
It was a
That's a
lot,
busy
but that's,
schedule.
doing
Nothing
that.
moves fast in Tallahassee.
No, no. And then just when you think you got it, no, you don't.
Yeah.
So it's a tough game there. But so that already had us, doing politics and
See, that's what kind of pushed you in that direction to be more involved, to
it
know
did.
more about all that's going on. All
Yes,
that.
and I started watching some local shows, kind of like yours, different local shows, and I started meeting people through those shows. We had the same thought process, and it's funny. I met some other grandmothers, and we were like, "Hey," we were kind of upset about what was going on in the county, so we're like, "You know what? Let's get together and start vetting these candidates." So we made our own little group. We would call the candidates and say, "Hey, we have this group, and we're vetting candidates. Come see us." And so we met at the Village Inn. And it was funny to see their face when they come through, and there's just a bunch of grandmas sitting there, and they're like, "Okay, what's going on?"
Yeah.
But so we started vetting candidates, and that kind of led into some other things where I started getting actively involved in campaigns, knocking on doors, helping others get their signature signed. So I think that year we flipped like 3 seats in the county and 4 on a city in the city council.
Oh, wow.
So working together, we had a pretty good group. We had people from the city who were, working together, and when you have a lot of people working together to get something done,
Yeah.
you can make some things happen.
Better odds of getting
Right.
it done. Yeah.
So, so it led there, and then I don't know. I just got to where, now not necessarily the city, but in the county, I'd help people get elected, and then they would end up right in the pockets of the developers and builders, and then they'd quit listening to the citizens. They're like, "Why are y'all up here? We're just stirring the pot." And I think for a while we were called. We had a nickname. You might have heard it, the Pitchfork Posse.
I do vaguely remember the pitchfork posse being a term getting thrown around a
I
few
don't know
times.
how
Yeah.
we got that, but it was definitely an experience. So
Yeah.
this go around, honestly, I was hoping my husband would run.
Yeah.
And we discussed it. We prayed about it. We just couldn't get a lease on him running. He was right in the middle of some things with recall, and we just felt like that was going to be the best place for him to be. And honestly, at that time, I was so relieved. Once we made that decision, I was like, you know what? Okay, I didn't want to do this anyway. I'm so glad we decided for you not to run, right?
Yeah.
So I had a phone call with a sitting commissioner that did not end well. And so about 2 weeks after we made that decision, I went to my husband. I said, "I'm running. I'm just going to do it. It's, it's a put up or shut up year."
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here.
right.
So
Good.
yeah, so it was kind of a long road, like a 6 year. It's been 6 years of just, trying to get the right people in and hoping that they're going to do what they said.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, that's a big part of it. And, well, it looks like you had yourself a journey
yes.
to get to this point,
It's
for sure.
still going.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, let's see here. All right. So let's see. Why'd you get into politics? Why District 2C? For District 2, what do you feel is the biggest issue facing that district right now? Hey, Santa Rosa County. Thanks for watching the Blackwater Report. This platform reaches thousands of local Santa Rosa County citizens just like you each week. And if you have a small business and would like to grow your local reach, give us a call here at the Blackwater Report. We'd be glad to help.
Obviously, the
more than
infrastructure.
one
Yes,
infrastructure.
there's a lot. I think that's the biggest thing people are talking about is infrastructure, public safety. I'm in East Milton now. Baghdad is a little different because they are on the other side of the river. Baghdad is also in District 2, but East Milton, when I was getting my signature signed, there were people who said, we can't get an ambulance out here in time. I had to call an ambulance, and it took a while for them to get there. Now this is just different people's experience. I don't know. I'm not saying we have a bad emergency system. I'm just saying that people shared some of their experience with that. So public safety, I think, is an issue out there. We don't have an emergency center or anything like that in East Milton.
No, there's not.
So, so it's pretty much all stems around infrastructure.
Yeah.
Having the proper infrastructure to have a community in East Milton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's so much growth
Right.
in East Milton.
Yes.
There's 2 water treatment plants that are in the works right now. One for
Right.
the city,
Yes.
one for the county.
Yes.
There's the solar panels that are out there. There's the industrial area that's out there. More houses that have been built. So
Yes.
East Milton is certainly growing. I mean, it warrants some of this infrastructure and medical services and,
Right.
and stuff like that. Now, I would imagine at some point there's probably going to be a school that'll get built
Yes.
in the area
That
at some
that would be
point.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's see here. How about as Santa Rosa County continues to grow, how would you balance that growth with preserving the community's character and the quality of life?
Right. Well, right now the quality of life, out in East Milton, we don't necessarily have a park. We don't have a lot of places to shop. We don't have, it's not yet. It's a community, but it's not. We've have all these houses that have been built out there, but there's no sense of community, which I think does bring a certain quality of life for people. I think that we do need to protect. We have the wellfield protection area out there. I think it is important
Yeah.
to protect that. I think that we do need to support the businesses, the small businesses that are there. We do need to support them. So just bringing in, we have the industrial park.
Yeah.
We have all of that, but we just don't have anything that brings us together as a community out there.
Well, those are not really small businesses. I mean,
No, they're not small
not
businesses.
really, not
No.
in the sense of what we would normally think of.
Right.
Okay.
We only have, I think we have 2, 3, I'm trying to think. As far as small businesses that aren't necessarily like Dollar General, I think we have
Right.
2 Dollar
There's a
General.
couple of
Small
those,
Family
yeah.
Dollar, right? And we have the Piggly Wiggly, but the cutting board moved out there. That's a small business.
yeah.
Yeah, we just had someone open. I haven't been in it yet, but the East Milton Market, I haven't been in there to see what they're all
Seen that.
about.
Yeah. They got a
But-
great brand new sign out there.
Yes. So, I would like to try to help those types of businesses
Yeah.
thrive if they can.
Yeah.
Because that, to me, is what preserves the character of areas.
Yeah.
Small business.
Yeah.
Like that.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. Okay. Let's see here. So the next one. Now you touched on traffic and infrastructure, as they are major concerns. What specific improvements of infrastructure would you prioritize?
Okay. Well, the Highway 90 expansion
Mm-hmm.
is one, which just moved to number 4, as everybody knows.
It did.
So that still means it could be 10, 20 years. I don't know.
There could still be some side.
There's a lot of controversy around that, and whether or not the sitting commissioner was actually pushing that as much as he should have been. There were some citizens that said that they had called, and they said, well, there just really hasn't been any interest. And so to have a sitting commissioner, I mean, he's not here to defend himself, but to
Right.
have him thinking this is one of the biggest deals, the traffic, and then, well, nobody's even tried to push it or get the citizens' movement behind it or anything like that.
Right.
It's not good to hear that. Out there is, because we have 2 industrial parks. So we have Amazon, we have the Pepsi company, we have 2 RV parks, Splash, and then we have Unhitched. Is it Unhitched? Or
I
I think it might
is
be called Unhitched.
Is it unhitched? I think so. I think they have one in Baghdad too.
Probably, yes.
They might have
Yeah.
a second location.
Yes. So we have both of those. We have 2 truck stops. One of the Exxon gas station has a place where trucks can come off the road and park. And then we have one down the road where semis also come and park. It's an older one, and they've just kind of made lots. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about there? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have all of that there, and yet our light at 10, which I fought for forever to get. So they put a light on one side. They didn't redo the turning lane. The turning lane's just short. So that traffic backs up, even past the Shell station. So even though the light's green, it's a dead stop in that lane. So we only have one lane that's moving usually, which makes it very dangerous because people turning to Crestview they'll leave a gap there. But if there's a car coming up those cars, and we've had a couple accidents there, is they don't see the car coming. Yeah. So that would definitely be one. I think we need a light on both sides. We need that turning lane lengthened. Yeah. So that's one of the things that baffles me. Why did you put all this stuff out there and not put the proper infrastructure? Sure. And I don't know exactly how this works, but the companies that came there, I mean, they're making a lot of money off our area. So why couldn't they have been part of helping build the infrastructure that they need for their semis that come and go, right. Or even the RV park? So those are two that I would really, I think, focus on. Yeah. And of course, hoping to move the wastewater treatment plant forward, whatever that looks like, because we definitely need it out there. When you get 400 and 600 homes crammed together on septic, and we have our well field protection area out there, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So.
Yeah. A lot of new homes, a lot of new septic tanks.
Right.
Some might even say a lost opportunity for some of the water revenue. Systems for the revenue, right? Okay, very cool. Let's see. So, okay, we mentioned small business. How would you support local business while attracting new economic opportunities to the county?
I think maybe a shop local initiative, maybe something like that, support. I'd really love to see a place in East Milton that would do one of the farmers markets. I know in Navarre they have a farmers market, and in Milton city limits, they have a farmers market. In Pace they have one, but in East Milton, we don't have one. I know that was kind of a friend of mine's involved in that. So it was kind of an initiative that they started together. So we need to find someone who's like, hey, let's do this kind of thing. So it was an initiative that someone started and went to the city and said, hey, we want to start a farmer's market. What do we got to do kind of thing. So I'd love to see that out there. As far as attracting new business, we have the industrial parks. Yeah. We have Amazon. We do have a lot of things that are already out there. I really think that we need more amenities for the community out there.
More amenities. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That, like I said, the Emergency Center or the a grocery store. I know there's a Piggly Wiggly, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of competition.
Sure.
So
well, there's
to help balance those prices.
Fixing to be 3 gas stations at Ward Basin and 90.
Yes.
I seen the gas tanks are going in, so there's gonna be 3 gas stations right there.
A Wawa.
Is that a Wawa? Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well.
I know. That's what I say. Wow. So the Wawa's here, but it's gonna be crazy right there. Yeah. So it's already crazy because that's the bottleneck.
Yeah. And there's in East Milton Elementary is not right a few blocks away right there. Yeah. So I can imagine that'd be a bit of a congestion area. It already is a congested area. Okay. All right. So let's see here. What is your position on protecting Santa Rosa County natural resources and waterways in our rural areas?
That was in our rural areas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as far as our rural areas, I was just talking to a friend recently, and how unique Santa Rosa is that you go from the coast to the forest, to the city, to the farmlands. So we really do have a unique demographic here as far as land. I know that Rhett Rao has put forth an initiative. I would totally support him in that as the commissioner of that district as far as our farmland. Now, as far as my district goes, there's been whispers about a data center coming in. Now, I've asked a couple of people, and of course, they're like, no, our infrastructure can't support it. And I'm like, really? Is that an issue? I don't know, because you don't seem to care about anything else. So as a matter of fact, we did a little bit of digging, and there was a company asking for a height variance, and I'm not sure how tall, because you have the outline fields there, and you have the helicopters, so you can only have a building so tall. So we looked into one of the companies. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But if you go on their website, that's what they do. They put in data centers. And so I also found out that I believe it was Tallahassee passed a legislation that said that our local government can have a NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. You know, all these letters. That's one thing that is driving me crazy about running. Is everywhere you go, people are talking in letters, and you're like, "What? Can you just say words
for
Yes.
everything. Yeah.
I know. So a non-disclosure agreement. So for anybody out there who doesn't know, what an NDA is. So our local government can have a non-disclosure agreement for up to a year before the citizens ever know the data center is coming. And so they say it takes about 18 months, I think it takes, to put in a data center. So if you're already behind the 8 ball 12 months, it's there, and the citizens have no say. So that's part of my platform is accountability and transparency. And I'm just, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of that. A lot of these commissioners come in, they do some things, people see it's wrong, they know it's wrong, they do their 2 terms or their 3 terms, they go out with medical and whatever pension they get, and we pay for that with tax dollars for the rest of their life. Meanwhile, they're never held accountable for anything they do in office.
Right.
Hence recall. That's why we had fought so hard for that, because it just felt like the citizens really had, outside of the oh my goodness, what is the board? The ethics board.
Okay.
Which is very slanted.
Right.
In my opinion. That's just my opinion. I don't want to, hurt anybody's feelings, but in my opinion, to me, it's not a fair way to allow the people to have a voice.
Right.
You go to an ethics board, you can't say anything, you file your complaint, you sit there quietly while they decide
whether your complaint is valid or anything. Right. Yeah.
So I don't know what the question.
No. Protecting our waterways, protecting our resources.
The data center sucks up a lot of resources for very little return and time. So and people are fighting it all over the place. I know there are some counties that have literally put moratoriums on data centers in their area. I know that Pensacola, I think on the 16th, is having a meeting. I don't know. Don't show up on the 16th because I don't know if that's true, but I know it's coming up.
There's a meeting coming up.
Yes, about data centers in Escambia County. Okay. So
I'm sure that a lot of people is going to be watching what happens there, because it does seem that things that happen in Escambia, they tend to happen over here. Yes.
Some of that Escambia money's coming this way too. So
well, it is a beautiful area. Being from here. And even those that move into the area, you can see we have beautiful beaches. Yes. We have an amazing farmland and agriculture area on the north end that is just great. And a lot of people, that's what they want. That's why they came here, is because they want to see it in that picturesque type of way. So it is a big deal for a lot of people. And I'm certain that would be something to prioritize.
Right. Well, with you saying that, it makes me think about a lot of times they'll say, well, you moved here, you built your house, so shouldn't everybody be able to come here and build their house? Yeah. And there's a little bit of truth to that. But however, with us lacking in infrastructure, even a building, you build a building, you're only allowed so many people in that building before it comes unsafe. That's why we have fire laws. You can only put this many people. So I think I'm going ahead on one of your questions, but it was the hurricane thing. You pack so many.
That is a question I had for her. Hurricanes, yes, yeah.
I'm very curious to see how evacuation is going to happen when we get a major hurricane here, because in the past, I know Ivan. I wasn't here for Ivan. We missed it by 4 years.
Okay. Yep.
But my mother was here and my brothers were here. They were actually in law enforcement at the time. When Ivan came through, and it got ugly.
Yeah.
People were scared. They were running out of food and water, and those are the ones that stayed. The ones that left couldn't get back in, and the ones that did leave, a lot of them ended up in huge traffic jams. So, So now we have a county full of people who probably have never been through a hurricane.
Yeah, it's been a few years since this county, knock on, since this county has had a real major hurricane. Right. This specific area, Ivan was rough. It was certainly rough. And you're right. You got a lot of new people in the area. What's going to happen is, the alarms, the alerts will go out. A lot of people will want to leave. They'll want to evacuate. They'll start hitting the roads to get out of here, but the roads may not be wide enough or enough lanes that you're going to have congestion. For the priorities of public safety, emergency management, and as of now that we're in June, we have hurricane season is right on us. How would you prioritize public safety and emergency management for the district or for the county?
Well, obviously, I want our first responders to have the tools that they need to do the job they're meant to do. That is one. As far as like we were just talking about the public safety, I mean, we have to get out to people that you plan now. You got to start planning now, even if you don't think we're going to have one, or even if they're saying, chances are we're not going to have one this year. You really need to be planning. The hardest part though is they'll say, well, you need to leave 3 days. If you're going to leave, you need to leave 3 days before. Yeah. And people spend money and time, and they leave and they find someplace to stay. This is why people wait till last minute. They find someplace to stay, and then the hurricane turns. And then everybody's like, oh, we got to, we come back home, and then, it's just tough. It's a tough situation, especially when you have this many people here to get this many people to safety, or they say, oh, it's not coming here. And then last minute it turns. And it is coming here.
Right.
So,
be prepared.
People just have to take it into their own hands. Don't wait for, thinking that our local government is going to handle everything, because they're human, just like
limited resources. Right. I mean, even if, and they have, they have a reasonable budget. I'm sure we can always adjust on that.
Right.
But it's not an infinite amount of resources.
Right.
That they are able to provide. And so the citizens, to an extent, do need to prepare, plan accordingly.
Right.
On what they're going to do. So, all right, very good. So let's see here. Now, talking about some of the priorities in your first term, right? So let's go through that scenario. You're in the position, you're in the District 2 seat. What are your priorities in your first year of office?
Okay, so one of the things in my first year I'd like to do, I told you, getting my petitions, there were some citizens that came up and they would say, like, we have a ditch, it just needs cleaned out. That is a simple fix. So fixing some of those things for some of the citizens that came up and said, we're not getting the road fixed, but we can clean out a ditch so that they're not, flooding or something simple like that. So I do have a list. I had a where I was getting my signatures, I took a notebook and I just had citizens write down, what your complaint is or what you'd like to see done. So I do have that list. So I'd like to check that list off of those who stopped and told me their needs. I'd like to make an avenue for the citizens to be more involved. Maybe change the meeting time. I know it's in the morning, early in the morning. That's everybody's work hours, So maybe change it back to the evening time. I'd like to have each commissioner set aside time, whether it's 3 days a week, 2 hours, only for citizens, not for special interests, not for developers, not for their friends.
Yeah.
But, citizens, because that's been one of the complaints. It's very hard to get an appointment with our county commissioners.
Right.
Because they're so busy.
They're busy.
Yeah. And I'm sure they are busy, but, they work for the people. And so they should be available to the average citizen, not just the ones with lots of money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So
well,
anyway.
And that goes into our next question of how can county government improve transparency and communication with residents?
Now, transparency, I think that is, I don't know, we obviously have the sunshine law, but transparency is only as good as the person who is going to be transparent, right? So, you trust that they're going to be transparent, but you don't know. As far as the communication with the citizens, I'd like to see more town halls.
Yeah.
I'd like to possibly even have a way that citizens can like have a Zoom meeting per se. Like if you can't be in person, then open yourself up to be. When I talked about the 2 hours, set aside 2 hours just for the citizens. Some of those may be conference calls. Let's see. I think that's all I had. I just think there needs to be better communication with the citizens. And
improve communications and maybe change that meeting time and just block off some time as well for everybody. Yeah. I would imagine that would be something a lot of people would appreciate. If you watch any of the meetings, that is something that we have seen. Okay, let's see here. We've gotten through quite a bit of these. And let's see. Now, what? Okay, many residents feel disconnected from local government. What would you do to ensure their voices are heard and represented at the county level?
Well, we kind of just talked about it.
Yeah, just talked about it. Yeah.
It all kind of intermingles the communication, the accountability, the transparency. I know that Trey put out, I don't know if you saw his pie chart, but one of the biggest pieces of the pie chart was accountability and transparency.
Okay.
Even over infrastructure.
Yeah.
So people want to know that the candidate is gonna be true to what they say.
Right.
And if they can't be true to what they say, then they need an explanation for why.
Right.
This is what's going on. And I don't think that happens enough. So
yeah. Well, that kind of goes into if the candidate or the person in that position doesn't have the trust of the citizens, then the citizens may wonder, well, how can we trust you to get the other things accomplished that are as a priority? So
I will say this, anybody who sits here and says they're going to come in and they're going to make it all right and fix it and it's going to happen right now, they're not being honest, because we are in a mess in Santa Rosa County. It is going to take some time to move some things. It's going to take, speaking to Nathan Boyles, and Jimmy Petronis and people who can push the finances this way. It's also going to take some give on our part, financially to meet whatever the state is willing to give. So I'm not going to tell everybody I'm going to come in, I'm going to fix it all because I know how to build a road. That's not going to happen.
Right.
I'm just saying. So, the biggest thing I can offer is being here 20 years. There's a lot of good people in Santa Rosa County, and there's a lot of good people who are hurting because of some of the things that have been done through development. And I think that we need to make sure that we make that right.
Yeah.
And so transparency and accountability is big.
Yeah. Definitely priority. Like you said, there can be small things like cleaning ditches, but there's also really big projects that will take several years to get through.
Right.
Okay. Well, I've got one last question for you.
One last question.
One last one, and we'll let you run. Okay. So if elected, or I'm sorry, no, that's not it. We'll back up. We'll edit that out. It'll be fine. What message would you leave with the District 2 voters as they prepare to cast their ballots?
Okay, well, we've done things the same way for a long time in Santa Rosa County, and I wasn't going to say this, but I guess I am. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So I just feel like I have something different to bring, and if you believe that, then vote for me August 18th, and we'll just see what happens together.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd leave them with.
Something a little different, make a change. Right?
Something a little different, make a change. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Where if the folks want to be able to find you, where can they find you at?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page, and I also have a website.
We'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's probably sitting down here on the screen right now.
Perfect. Perfect.
So they can find you on, there's a website. They can find you online on Facebook.
Yes.
And if you want
Hopefully Instagram soon.
Instagram.
I'm doing some
There you go.
videos. I'm just trying to reach out, trying to reach the younger people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, they seem to be on Instagram quite a bit, so
know.
that makes sense. So if you need to reach out, you can reach out. We have a few resources. And if anybody is looking to get more information, they can find that from you.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Renee, for coming out. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And to everyone else, until next time, take care.